Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I have had COVID the last couple of days, so feeling a little tired. I had it in my last video actually, was why I sounded so nasally. Echo, shut the fuck up, that's my dog. So I've got COVID, apologies if my energy levels feel a little down at any point. But otherwise, I got this book for Christmas called Why Meditate by Gillian Lavender, and I've read a bit of it, and it reminded me how much I like meditation, and I got out my phone and went to my meditation app, Headspace. So that's the app we're going to be talking about, because I love Headspace, and I realised that it would be the last app I would delete on my phone, because it has given me so much value over the last 4 years, and I want to do more of it in 2022, and I wouldn't be a self-respecting YouTuber if I didn't talk about my goals for 2022, which I'm going to do in the next video. But in this video we're just going to be talking about Headspace and meditation, because I want to do a bit more of it next year, and it's very difficult to keep up, it seems, but the book has been good so far. It's helping me sort of like channel energy towards it. But Headspace, over the last 4 years, I've learned so much from and got so many different lessons, and I'm going to share my top 10 lessons. I don't do as much as I like to, but I really like Headspace. I generally just sit down with some AirPods in, and I go through periods, months where I don't do it at all, and then I go through like 30 days where I might do it every day. That hasn't happened for a while actually, to be honest. But I know it's good for me and I like doing it. So I'm making this video so that I remember the benefits of it, but also to, you know, inspire others potentially to try meditation and Headspace, which has worked for me. Well, I mean, it's a great app, but I haven't managed to keep up with it totally consistently. So anyway, this is 4 years worth on and off of synthesized Headspace and meditation wisdom for you. The number one lesson I've learned from Headspace and the founder, Andy Puddicombe, who was a monk for a while, is he said that change is the only constant. And what he means is that the only thing you can guarantee in life is that you will change, things will change. No moment is the exact same as another moment. And I found this idea kind of annoying to start with, because I was actually like, well, I don't really like change. And I think lots of us don't really like change, and it's an annoying one to accept. But once you fully accept change is inevitable, actually it becomes quite exciting. It becomes something to help you move forwards, knowing that everything, you will change, your friends will change, your family will change, your job, your career, everything will change. And it's the only constant. It's the only thing that is consistent in your life, and knowing that things will change makes it a lot easier to deal with things changing. So that's lesson number one. Lesson two is about sleep. So I first came to Headspace because I was struggling to sleep. I had issues with sleep at the time. I don't anymore, because Headspace actually like totally changed my approach to sleep, which is amazing. So the idea is, the sort of fundamental idea is that when you get into bed, you basically should just not trying to fall asleep doesn't work. You need to just come to a place where you find being in bed just restful. You're just lying in bed and you're quite happy lying in bed, being in a state of rest. And then if you just feel comfortable, that is what allows your mind to drift off and eventually fall asleep. Trying to fall asleep does not work, obviously. So I used to feel like that, and then I went through a period of struggling to sleep, and then Headspace kind of got me back to that, where I just enjoyed getting into bed at night and feeling quite happy to just lie there and do nothing, and then your mind drifts off because you feel relaxed. So being in a state of rest is what it takes to fall asleep, and even if you don't fall asleep, then at least your body is still resting and recovering somewhat. The blue sky is always there. This is one of the main principles of meditation and of Headspace. And the idea is that the blue sky represents kind of peace and, you know, feeling relaxed and calm, and clouds represent the kind of scary thoughts or the anxiety or whatever it might be, the bad thoughts that we have. And occasionally the weather gets really bad and the clouds get very scary, and there's maybe a thunderstorm, and it's very hard to ignore the clouds. But no matter what, eventually the clouds always clear. Or if you're in a plane and you fly above the clouds, the blue sky is always there. It's never gone. It's sometimes just hidden by the clouds. And I think this is a really, really nice idea. It's very kind of calming and peaceful to know that the blue sky is always there, no matter how bad things get. If you, with practice and meditation, you can learn to always try and find the blue sky again. But also, even for me, just the idea, knowing that eventually the clouds will pass, is nice to remember as well. So the blue sky is always there. I think it's a great lesson. learning to watch the traffic. So Andy talks about how we cannot control which thoughts arise in our mind. We can't, like, you cannot actually physically control like which things pop into your head at any given moment, but what you can control is whether you choose to engage with them or not. So he has this analogy, which is where you have a motorway of cars, and the cars represent thoughts, and sometimes we try and go out into the motorway and stop the cars and engage with every car, every thought, but actually you can learn to just take a step back and sit on the side of the road and watch the cars go past and watch your thoughts go past is the idea. And I think once you kind of realize that actually you don't have to go in and engage with every single thought, maybe it's an anxious thought or a bad thought or a negative thought, whatever it is, you don't actually have to engage with it. Yes, they might appear in your mind, you can't control that. It's very difficult, or it's impossible to actually stop things like popping up in your head, but you don't have to engage with them. You can learn to just sort of let them appear and then let them go. Seeing your thoughts as traffic seems quite sort of calming and peaceful. Happiness comes from focusing on the happiness of others. Andy talks about how when we focus on the happiness of ourselves a lot, it can become quite overwhelming, quite distracting, and we think, we need to do all these different things to just make ourselves happy, and actually that can take away from the fact that happiness is quite simple. And it's simple because when we focus on the happiness of others, we immediately become like attached to the present moment and to helping others find happiness, and that intrinsically makes you feel happy. I think that's right. I think I've kind of explained that, how he explained it. He talks about how we should express compassion without expecting anything in return. So, doing nice things that people don't know about necessarily and don't expect anything in return, and kind of exercising that and focusing on the happiness of other people gives you that kind of warm, fuzzy feeling that we're all after inside. So focus on the happiness of others if you are struggling with happiness right now. It might be a nice experiment to change things up. Instead of focusing on trying to be happy yourself, try making everyone else happy. I think sometimes it's difficult to balance, but it's worth trying out. Awareness leads to compassion. So one of the main ideas of Headspace and meditation is that we are trying to be fully aware of the present moment. We're trying to be aware of ourselves and of other people and come to be at one with the present moment. That's like one of the main ideas about it, I think. And this being present in the moment allows you to be free from judgment, and this uncovers the ability to be compassionate and kind and empathetic towards others, because you are more patient, you're more understanding, and you're not thinking about the future or the past. You're not stressed or anxious. You can just approach them with full compassion. An example that comes to mind here is like if I was really stressed on my way to work and I was in a rush maybe, and that might lead me to being rude towards someone else, because you might like cut them off in the road, or you might run past them in the street, thinking more about yourself because of your anxieties about the future. But if you're sort of present in the moment, yeah, you might still be trying to rush to get to work or whatever, but you're aware that everyone else also has their priorities. You're aware you're not the most important person in the world. That kind of thing. I think this awareness, this connection to the present moment can lead you to being more compassionate towards others. The mind is like a muscle, so like any muscle, you need to look after it, and you need to kind of warm it up and you need to cool it down. So I think the idea that Headspace talks about, and Andy, is that you should do 10 minutes of Headspace in the morning, and it's really difficult to do, but we should treat our mind just like any other muscle. We need to look after it for it to perform at its best. And the mind is how we, view the world. It's how we engage with the world. It's how we experience the world. So we should take the time to learn about it and look after it. And for some reason we don't. So I think treating it like a muscle is a really effective way of taking care of it. Praise and criticism are two sides of the same coin. So we all want people to say nice things about us. We want people to say like, Tino, you're a dog, you're an absolute legend, you're the best at this, you're good at this. We all, it's nice, it feels good. You want people to say good things about you. But if you're attached to the good stuff, Andy says that it becomes harder to accept criticism, and that sort of penetrates further because you value the good stuff, the praise so much. You value the criticism as well, and you give it attention. We should try to not get too attached to either. I think it's nice to receive some praise every now and then. Maybe that's not part of the sort of mindfulness attitude, but if you do appreciate the praise, then it's likely that you'll attach value to people's negative opinions of you as well. So I think there's a fine balance in there, in there somewhere. But anyway, something to be aware of. Don't judge others against your ideas of them. So I think this is a really, really important one, and something loads of us do and loads of us get wrong is that we judge people against what we think their ideal version of themselves looks like. So we imagine people how we want them to be, and then we compare them, who they are now, against that person. So when someone is annoying you and you just think, why can't you just be more like this, or why can't you just do this thing, we're comparing them as they are against who we wish they could be. And I think that is a really potentially poisonous thing to be doing, and you end up kind of getting frustrated yourself because they're not who you want them to be. And that is just a difficult thing to work through and a difficult thing to deal with just for yourself. There's a saying that holding a grudge is like drinking a poison and hoping the other person dies. And I think this idea is kind of similar. When you're comparing someone against who you wish they could be or who you wish they were, then you're kind of just constantly frustrated and drinking a poison because they're not the thing that you want them to be. So remember to see people for exactly who they are and not comparing them against who you wish they would be. Consistency is key. So obviously I can't make a YouTube video without talking about consistency at some point, but the benefits of meditation definitely can be just after one session. That's what I've experienced. 10 minutes, you feel great afterwards. But I find the real benefits come from doing it consistently. And this is something I struggle with. So this is why I'm making it one of the lessons, is because I need it myself. And I want to do more of it in 2022. And so I'm talking about it on here. People can check up on how often I'm meditating. So the benefits come from doing it consistently, because you get better. The mind is like a muscle. The more you train it, the more you practice, the better you get at experiencing the world in a more mindful way, and the better you get at practicing mindfulness and all of these kind of things. It's just the benefits absolutely come from doing it consistently. It doesn't necessarily mean doing it every day, because that is quite a lot for some people, especially me. I find doing anything every single day quite boring, but doing it 3 to 4 times a week, or maybe doing it on the same day every week, like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or something like that, I think the benefits do really come from doing it consistently. So I'm going to take this on board. I'm going to try to, because I've said this to myself before. If you are looking into it, don't just do it once, try and do it a couple times, or at least consistently for a while, and see how you feel after that. Awesome. So those are my 10 lessons from 4 years worth of sort of on and off Headspace meditation. Let me know if you've got any other tips or advice around this kind of stuff, and drop it in the comments. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this kind of video, you might enjoy these here. Otherwise, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.